Hey, it's Mark with Mark's House of Cars. We're talking about the Defender 110 again. It has a massive amount of problems. Seller hit a bunch of stuff. But I want to talk about why I chose to get one with an LS3 swap. I've got some flack for that. People saying that they should never have this motor. I'll talk about why I did that and then talk about some more things we found wrong with it, more things we've discovered. It is going into the mechanic on Friday. This is Tuesday. What day is it? Yes, it's Tuesday. So still a few more days. He's going to look at it, see what all he can find wrong with it too. Then the plan, I guess, is to compile a list and go back to the seller and see if we can get some kind of money back from him. If not, I may have to sue him. We'll see, because he grossly misrepresented many issues, including safety issues, which is illegal in New Jersey, where he sold this car from. I'm in Colorado. All right, so I bought this from Bring a Trailer, paid way too much money for it, $96,000, and thought it was all completely redone. Turns out it's mostly just a giant pile of crap. But hopefully we can make it less of a pile of crap as time goes on. The most recent thing I just found is the tires are on backwards. They're rotating the wrong way. And thank you to the YouTube commenters who have been going through all the things wrong with it, helping me out. I do read everyone's comment. I might not get a chance to respond to everybody, but I really do appreciate everyone. I've done a number of videos of this, and people have, said, hey, it looks like it's got Defender 90 axles or Discovery axles, brakes. That could be a major issue. Driving this is almost impossible because the steering and brakes are so bad. We need to get this off. This is way too heavy for the door. You can see they just painted over. Rust is coming through all over. That was not pictured at all, mentioned at all kinds of things here. And what's funny on the tires too is 3 of them face the wrong way, but the 4th goes the right way. So I'm not a mechanic. I've done some work on my cars, but even I can figure out that when it says rotate in points in one direction, there it is right there. I know what that means. I can figure that out. So we'll start this too, open up the hood again, look at the motor. We'll see how it runs. It's supposed to be a completely rebuilt LS3. It's not a crate motor, and I believe they said it's from a Camaro. But again, based on how everything else was done here, who knows? It's got the wrong seats, wrong seat belts, among other things. What is going on? Try it now. There it starts. Supposedly it's got a really aggressive cam, but that might have just been their excuse for it not running very well. Who knows? What is that? Is that the speakers? Huh. That seat comes down and won't lock in the back position. This one came down and I can't get back up. I think I showed this before. This is just not even attached. It actually revs pretty freely. I was just barely touching that. And those don't work. All right. So there's the motor. Hood doesn't, there's nothing to hold the hood up except your arm. I've got to move it over about half an inch that way to make it shut. There's scratches all over the place that weren't mentioned. So why did I choose an LS3? We're going to talk about that. There's a lot of different engine options on this, and I did do a ton of research on Defenders and different options and watched lots of YouTube videos and went to lots of different websites for companies that completely rebuild these. They all have different opinions on what motor's best. I know a lot of purists will say, well, you need the, TDI, the diesel, the 3 liter, maybe the 2.5. I was pretty dead set on a V8 from the beginning. And I thought about a North American V8, which is a 3.5 motor, but it doesn't have a ton of power. And if you're buying a NOS V8, they're worth some money, but you kind of want to keep them stock and because they're pretty rare and keep their value up. And I really wanted a Defender that was modified, that I could daily drive, and it was completely redone. Obviously, I failed in that respect in a lot of different ways, but that was my plan and my goal. And so I chose the LS3 because I looked at Bring a Trailer, I looked at all kinds of different websites, cars for sale, cars that have sold, and the LS3s brought the most value by far. They seem to be the most popular choice. If I decide to sell this or get rid of it at some point, those seem to be the ones that held their value, sold the best. I saw LS1s, I saw LS6s, I saw, you know, the 4.6 Ford motors in a lot of these, and none of them seem to sell or have the value as the LS3s. And all the big companies like East Coast Defenders and other companies that, you know, resto mod these, all seem to choose the LS3 as well. That was their choice. And if they're supposed to be the best of the best as far as when they're building these vehicles, I was looking at that as well as what motor to have in these. Now, of course, they were using crate motors that were brand new, which is different from a rebuilt LS3 as well. All right, so if we look at some of the sales over the last year or so, Bring a Trailer actually has pretty consistent values, I feel like, for what stuff's selling for. I think if you go to Cars and Bids, similar sites, it can be all over the place. You also don't know what's selling, right? A lot of people are asking 250 grand for some of these Defenders, but are they really selling for that? Probably not. But these, we can see what actually is sold and bid to, and there's a lot of people bidding, so I think it gives us a fairly good idea. And so one reason I like the LS3 too is because it seemed to be selling for the most money. So you can see the TDI, those are just bids. Let's go to the solds. That's better. Okay. NOS 5-speed, is that a V8? That one must have just sold. I didn't see this one. Yeah, it's got the 3.9 liter V8. Okay, so that's probably a mostly original North American vehicle. Yeah, you can see the original seats. Again, I have kids. I want headrests in the second seat. There's a lot of reasons why I don't want an original Defender, and that's a big one. In fact, my wife wouldn't even let me take my kids anywhere in those seats. So, what are you doing? Come on, let's get back up to where we were. Okay, so that's one option I don't want. Then you've got lots of TDIs, a 5.3, I'm not sure which one that is, sold for 60, or bid to 63, TDI 74, Cummins sold for 91, a 4.6 for 60. And again, it's so hard to just, without going through all of these and seeing exactly what they have and don't have, but I have done that on a lot of them. I'm not going to do it in this video. A TDI sold for 85. Here's one of the nice LS3s sold for 140. Another nice LS3 sold for 141, but this one didn't even have power windows or doors, so it's not completely redone. A TDI for 65. Diesel project, a lot of projects here. A 4.6 sold for 78. So you can see there's another 86 V8 for 86. I think that was that an original Rover V8? I'm not sure. But the LS3s stand out on this point. There's the one I bought, which I thought was a really good deal until we got it, right? We live and we learn. The crazy 6x6 bid to 175. They probably spent like 400,000 building that. Who knows? So there's reasons for why I chose what I did, but again, I probably chose the wrong one, obviously. And there's an LS3 that bid to 78, but it's a pickup version. The pickup versions always seem to sell for less than the wagon versions, and they converted that too. It used to be wagon. They converted it to kind of that pickup style. So there aren't many. There's a TDI. This sold for 110. I think that's one that was completely redone. So yeah, when you go through all this, and I have gone through a lot of these and looked at them and done a lot of research, that's when I figured out kind of what I wanted. Here's one for 110, completely redone too. But that was a TDI. So there are a couple TDIs, and that seems to really be the max that they were selling for. And then the LS3s go up from there pretty significantly. So there's another LS3 pickup that sold for 116. Yeah, we can get another LS3 sold for 100. I think that one, I can't remember if I looked at that one. There's another one I saw that had an LS3 that sold for like 56, but they disconnected the four-wheel drive. They had done all kinds of weird stuff to it and looked like a basket case. Probably better than mine after getting mine, but in the long run, yeah, we'll see. Oh, there's one. Is that the one that sold for 70? Maybe this is the one. Or no, this might be a different one. Oh, 5-speed manual. Yeah, I don't think that was it. So again, this is probably what mine should have sold for. But yeah, we'll get it hopefully sorted out. Hopefully not spend, you know, more than I paid for it, and see what we end up with. So just a lot of things I did wrong here. I know that. I learned a lot from this experience, but I'm still learning, and hopefully this process will teach me way more. And eventually maybe we'll get a vehicle here that's reliable and drivable and fun, and I can fit in better with the right seats and all of that. So, but that's why I chose the LS3. And a lot of people also said, well, you're destroying the vehicle. It's meant to have the diesel. It's meant for off-roading. I understand that, but that's not what I want. I'm not going to use it for off-roading very much. I'm going to use it to drive on regular city streets for the most part. Yes, we might take it off-roading a little bit, but not enough to justify having a vehicle just built for off-roading. And so I understand people who want the original, everything there. Really, I've got a Countach and a Diablo. They're all original. Countach in here has ignition problems right now that we're trying to fix. But you know, they made 200 of those a year. They made about 20 to 30,000 of these a year. Lots of different versions. There's lots of models out there. There's not like a huge shortage of them. And the motors they came with were built for off-roading, you know, low gear, crawling, not driving on the highway, power. And I also like the sound of the V8 too, if it's done correctly. So that's some of the reasons why I chose the LS3 V8. It wasn't just a whim. It wasn't just, oh, a big engine sounds cool. And I do like V8s. I've got a number of cars that are V8s, and I like the sound of V8s. My Porsche 928 actually has one of my best sounding V8s, and my cheapest car I've ever bought too, pretty much. So there's a lot of reasons for it. The conversion was very expensive, supposedly $88,000 to convert it to the LS3 if done correctly. It's got a 6-speed automatic transmission with it too. Did they really spend that much? I don't know. Did they coerce with the shop to show more labor charges? Maybe. Wouldn't be surprising to me. But a lot of the work's been done, even though if it's been done wrong. So hopefully we can still salvage something from this. I brought it from Bring a Trailer Auctions. I can't just take it back. I can't just tell them I don't want it anymore. That's not really an option unless the seller says, oh sure, yep, I'll take it back, which I know he's not going to. I can tell more of the story on the seller here in a little while, but he had a lot of the work done in Europe, brought it over here, then had the engine work done in New York. And so he has a shipping company. I'm not going to name any names yet, but if we can't come to some kind of agreement, something worked out somewhat satisfactory to everybody, I might start naming names, leaving reviews, doing things like that. We'll see. But I mean, sure, if you sell me a car that's got a few issues, and maybe they weren't obvious, I understand. But one that's just got problem after problem after problem, the wrong seats, the wrong seat belts, these are too short, there's no way you could ever use them, missing trim all over, all the panels are loose, rust, everything is just done poorly. That window won't roll down, this door won't open. Like I said, this is not even close to attached. Just poor work done everywhere. You know, they're obviously hiding a lot of things. And they took out the parts that make a Defender good and put in worse parts, which weren't disclosed. So, a lot of stuff. So, that's the car. It's a little stinky too, although I think it smells better than it did the last couple times I've had it on. God, that doesn't sound that great. It almost like hesitates and then goes and is grumbly. Yeah. So yeah, for all we know, there could be some engine issues as well. Supposedly it's got a warranty on the engine, but there we go. I think that expires here pretty soon, and it's for a shop in New York. I'm in Colorado. That doesn't help out too much. So that's the update. We'll see. This isn't even come close to fitting right. Oh, that's for the clutch, right? It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. And the gear shift has way more settings in that. It doesn't just have drive. So that's, yeah. All right. That's all for now. We'll have updates. We'll see what the mechanic says. As always, appreciate the comments. Help people giving me insights onto hopefully making this thing better and drivable. That's getting worse. Everything's getting worse. Like I said, there we go. I've got to use two hands to do this. All right, take care. Be back soon.